Hey guys, STF Gaming here with another deck profile. This time we're going to be doing the Gladiator Beast format. This is a pretty sweet format. It was right before Teledad, and it was just an interesting deck. It was one of the first archetype decks that really, defined a metagame. The Gladiator Beasts were around for a little bit, and then Phantom Darkness came along and introduced Darius and I believe it was Light of Destruction actually that this Gazaras came out, and that's what really made the deck function just on a whole nother level. One of the first players to really bring this deck to high success was Paul Leviton. So yeah, really cool deck. No one was really expecting it. I remember this card right here in Secret Rare form. You could easily get it at locals for like maybe $10, but then Paul Leviton won, and the card like jumped almost to $200. It was crazy. But yeah, this was kind of a fun deck, but at the time I didn't really like it. But looking back at it, it seems like a sweet deck. So I'd like to get some games in with this. The reasons why it wasn't really fun was because I was losing a lot, probably because I was just playing it wrong. But like looking back, I think I could play better if I got a chance to play more with it nowadays. Anyway, as you can see, Cold Wave, pretty degenerate, but you have some reaction in the form of DD Crow and Solemn. But I mean, if you Solemn a Cold Wave, you better have a lot of traps, or else they might just go off anyway. So yeah, this is the deck. If you don't understand, you're just going to be making a lot of Gazarases and getting a lot of Gladiator Beast triggers. Let's get into the explanations now. Yeah. Okay, so first let's just take a look at this Gazaras card. Gladiator Beast Bestiary and one Gladiator Beast monster. This card can only be special summoned by fusion. Can only be special summoned from your fusion deck by returning the above cards you control to the deck. You don't need polymerization. When this card's special summoned, you can destroy up to 2 cards on the field. And then at the end of the battle phase, if this card attacked or was attacked, you can return it to the fusion deck to special summon 2 GBs from your deck, except Bestiary. So this card you can make it with a set Bestiary or a face-up Bestiary and any other GB. So you want to be getting it with Darius a lot of the time. Get the Bestiary from grave and pop their cards, and it really gets the engine rolling. And this guy can negate traps, but he needs a Laquari and 2 Gladiator Beast spells or traps. So there are situations where you can make this backed up with some traps and a lot of cards in hand to negate their heavy storms and their mirror forces or whatever. So let's just get into it. You get the Murmelo, 800 attack, pops a monster, a face-up monster. I never really want this in hand. Always want it in deck as an option to get rid of pesky cards like the Spirit Reaper, or just like even Heraclinos at the right time, just stuff like that. It's just a nice card because at the end of the day, this is like a toolbox deck. Secutor, this is another monster you don't ever want in hand really. But like I said, if these cards are in your hand, you can just return them to your deck with the Bestiary to make a Gazaras. Not the easiest to summon 2 monsters, but it's possible, definitely. So this guy, when he deals damage, at the end of the battle phase, if it attacked or was attacked, a special summon 2 GB. So you could special summon a Laquari or whatever, and then you can make Heraclinos easy with this guy. Next up at 2 Laquaris. When he's special summoned, he's going to be 21, and he makes Heraclinos, and nothing can really run over him. Just one of the best cards to tag out into because all these GBs tag. Then you get 2 Darius. Going to be getting Bestiary, but sometimes it's not possible. It's not the worst to have in your hand because he has a good amount of attack points. So like he's one of the guys. These 2 are kind of the guys that you want to have in hand to bait out bottomlesses or just attack with because they have more attack. And yeah, so there's going to be a combo if you don't know with Prisma. We'll explain that in a bit. 3 Bestiary, he pops back rows. One of the key GBs in the deck. Popping back rows is great. 1500 is not too shabby for an attack point, and just everything centered around this card. So Just a nice little GB toolbox. It's not too huge. What is it? 9 cards. So next up is Morphing Jar. I don't remember whose deck this is. I built this a while ago. I copied someone's deck. This is the deck I like the most. It had Morphing Jar in it. Kind of questionable in the mirror match because whenever you set a card, you're just allowing them to use a GB. So, I mean, maybe with more playing, I could understand why. Maybe they just don't want to use it against the mirror match. Maybe it's to bait out DD Crows and your opponent's hand or something. I don't know. Next up are DD Crow, a very important part of the deck. One of the only answers to Darius, especially under Cold Wave, where you can't use your trap cards at all. So, really like this card. One of the first and best hand traps back in the day, and definitely good because it is a dark for Crush card. So, kind of multi-purpose card, and you got these 4 cards for the Crush card. You're always going to want this in hand in the mirror match, just for that extra layer of protection. You're definitely going to need it. Like it's always live in the mirror match. Unless they just beat you down and you can't summon monsters, I guess. Singing, search DD Crow or Test Tiger with this, please. I guess I'll get to Test Tiger last. Okay, you get Stratos and the 2 Prismas. Stratos is a really big attack point, so if you get this first, your opponent can't just freely summon their Darius and attack into your monster. You might be thinking, why not just Prismas? Because the Prisma is the piece you want, but like Stratos is a nice monster on board, where Prisma isn't. Like you don't ever want to just summon this and pass, but you would with Stratos, so that's why Stratos is in there. And if you draw your Prismas, you can always send it back when it's called Bestiary. So yeah, Prisma next. What we're going to be doing with Prisma is almost always calling Gladiator Beast Gizaris and sending Bestiary, which makes his name Bestiary. Then you can special summon Test Tiger, or if you have GB on the board already, you can just contact them into the Gizaris to make the Gizaris, and the Prisma goes back in deck. So yeah, but one of the key combos of Prisma is the Test Tiger. So this is the sweetest combo in the deck, and the most annoying one. These 3 cards right here. You use the Cold Wave, your opponent can't use traps. You summon the Prisma, you send the Bestiary, and then you Test Tiger to get Darius. Prisma puts the Bestiary in grave. You summon the Darius, it gets that Bestiary, and then you make an instant Gizaris. And that's 2,400 damage, blow up a whole bunch of cards, and make whatever you want, tag out for whatever you want. Test Tiger is great for the toolboxy effect. You don't have to get the attack through, so it just adds some bonus consistency, I suppose, and aggressiveness, I guess. You get the Cold Waves. Let's just go to those first since I showed it off already. The Cold Waves are going to be used mostly as a tool to OTK, but a lot of the times you'll notice that it's actually pretty good to just, like, if you have a Laquari, you really know that your opponent's only out is a Test Tiger, so you could go like Cold Wave. If you have like 2 in hand, maybe you want to use one first without any traps, you go the Cold Wave, summon the Laquari, and then pass. Your opponent can't really do anything except a Test Tiger, and even if they Test Tiger, they get a Murmillo poke on you, and then maybe make a 21 Laquari. You can pop back with whatever you have. So using Cold Wave with nothing is actually pretty good this format in a lot of situations, but you're going to be wanting using it with the Gizaris combos a lot too. Prima's great, just another summon. Whenever you can get 2 summons is pretty good in this format because the goal is Gizaris, but it's especially good with Prisma. You go Prisma, send Bestiary, and then you can Prima the Bestiary, instant Gizaris right there. And everyone knows why Prima's good. Econ, kind of cool in the mirror match. You can just, when if your opponent like attacks your GB, you could take their card that attacked, and then you get to tag it out at the end of the battle phase. So, and it lets you run over things with smaller defense if you're having trouble running over them, stuff like that. Just a nice little versatile card, I suppose. Monster Born. Same thing as Prima, but you can use your opponent's graveyard now. What this is going to mean is you can play around DD Crow, and you have a bigger selection of cards because you get both yours and your opponent's grave. MST and Heavy. Be patient with these. Solemn is a card this format, so these are great for, like, let's say you have the Cold Wave and Heavy, and you use Cold Wave and your opponent Solemned you, well, you just have the Heavy, so you just made them lose half their life points for nothing. Stuff like that. It's kind of cool. Double Book. Nice defense. Book of Moon is an answer to Test Tiger. Test Tiger needs to send the face-up card to the deck, so if you chain Book, it's going to flip the monster down, and Test Tiger doesn't work, so really good answer. Kind of good for the same reasons Econ is as well. Double Rhoda, very good in this deck. It's just like you're running 3 Stratos and 4 Prisma, so they're very important to this deck, especially with Test Tiger and Monster Reborn and Prima. Alright, onto the trap cards. We talked about Crush Card, so let's just get over it. Crush Card came out of Gold Series, right? I believe so. Yeah, it came out of Gold Series at this point. It's quite new, I believe. And this is like a $300 card, but like everyone who was competitive had it, and it was just, even though like nothing about GB says Dark with under 1,000 attack, it was just so good. Like this, if you look at this monster lineup, it kills a lot of these monsters. Another reason why Road is good, because after they Crush Card you, you can just Road something. Bottomless, another really good card. I mean, if you can get rid of their bestiaries, they're gonna have troubles. So yeah, just a good one-for-one spell or trap. Dust Shoot, good answer to Cold Wave, definitely. Good answer to DD Crow. Good answer to Test Tiger. Like if they go Prisma, they probably have the Test Tiger, so good chance there to trap Dust Shoot. Just a great card, always has been. 2 generic traps, not explaining those, and then you get the 3 Solemns. Very important card this format. You can kind of use it as a Cold Wave if you're going aggro and you have this set. It's kind of like a backup, and it can negate their Heavies, Cold Waves, and Gazars and stuff like that. So overall, it's just an interesting deck. Like, I really want to play it. I haven't played it very often. So yeah, maybe you'll see some dueling book decks with this, so I can decide if it's really degenerate or if it's fun. Tell me what you guys think. Peace out.